On the eve of his wedding, Alex found out that his girlfriend of 3 years saw him as a stand-in. Instead of causing a scene, he simply called his parents and told them he was calling off the wedding. For the next couple of weeks, Alex stopped caring about Linda's actions. He struggled to find an excuse to cancel, but unexpectedly, a male friend showed up and repeatedly used what he thought were clever tactics to drive a wedge between Alex and Linda. On the wedding day, that same friend used another excuse to whisk Linda away. Alex laughed. It was exactly what he wanted. He took off his suit and headed for the airport, never looking back. "Dad, I'm not getting married. I'm calling it off," he said over the phone. His dad sighed. "Didn't you and Linda already plan everything out? Why the sudden change?" Alex felt a pang in his heart, but only managed to say, "I realized she's not worth my time." There was some criticism in his father's voice. "You always insisted on being with Linda, even knowing she liked your twin brother. Even if you two look alike, your personalities are different. Why take his place? Especially since your brother has been gone for so long." His mom then took the phone. "It's good you're coming back. Vivian from next door is back. Remember how you used to follow her everywhere when you were little?" Returning to the hospital room after the call, Alex found it filled with Linda's friends, lively as ever. Everyone was there with flowers and fruit for Linda, and Alex came empty-handed, not even bringing a bottle of water. Hearing the door open, everyone turned to see Alex at the entrance. One frowned, showing dissatisfaction. "Aren't you Linda's fiancé? Aren't you getting married next month? Why come without even a bouquet?" A bit amused, Alex thought. Linda had been in a coma for a week, and he'd been by her bedside without rest. People saw that, and now they accuse him of not caring? Next to Linda sat a young man, looking familiar, possibly a newly signed actor from the company named Thomas. He was gently feeding Linda porridge. Upon hearing their comments, Linda frowned slightly, getting upset seeing Alex empty-handed. "Why are you so late?" Wanting to explain himself, Alex swallowed his words. There was no need to argue anymore. He glanced at everyone in the room indifferently, ignored Linda's question, and handed her phone to the nearest person. "I'm here to return her phone." With that, he turned and left the room without any hesitation or regret. Before the incident, Linda had planned a motorcycle ride with friends on a challenging mountain road. Alex discouraged her multiple times, but she brushed him off. "I know this road well. Just wait for me at the finish line." She tossed her phone to him and, amid laughter, sped off with others. Unfortunately, Linda lost control, crashing hard. By the time the ambulance arrived, she was unconscious. During her coma, he'd been by her side non-stop. When her phone finally charged and powered on, a message flashed. "When are you going to tell Alex you see him as a stand-in? This isn't right. He's 28 and can't waste time like this." Everyone knew Linda liked Alex's brother, Victor. Even Alex. When Victor went abroad, Alex joined Linda's company, eventually becoming her assistant. Linda frequently flew out to see Victor until returning distraught a year later. Approaching Alex at work, she'd asked, "Do you like me?" He'd blushed, nodding vigorously. She'd smirked and dazed off looking at him, until a car honk brought her back. Reaching a hand out, "Let's be together." Soon after, Alex learned tragic news. Victor had been killed abroad during a robbery by a biker gang. Watching the footage on his phone, he saw a police chase morph into a grisly scene with bloodstains along the street. After Victor's funeral, Linda returned to normal life, eating and sleeping as usual. People whispered she'd moved on after Victor left the country. But Linda hadn't let his brother go. Holding her phone, Alex opened a chat between Linda and her friend Stella. Reading their conversation. "Stella, I don't like Alex, but you're not being fair." "Linda, how is it unfair? He wants to be with me. I'm not forcing him." "Stella, Victor adored Alex. If he knew you were playing with his heart, he wouldn't forgive you." "Linda, the dead don't know. I just want that face so like Victor's." Stella did not reply, but moments before Linda's accident, she messaged again. And that's when Alex realized Linda never really moved on from Victor. Her agreement to marry Alex was only because of his resemblance to his brother. Back at work, Colleagues asked about the wedding, and Alex forced a smile, saying it might be postponed due to Linda's health. Handing in his resignation later, a coworker teased about office romances, misunderstanding his intent to leave. Understood the hint, Alex chose not to correct and retrieved his resignation form, heading to Linda's office. Leaving the paper on her desk, he felt his sadness over the texts had already drained. As he walked out, moments from their time together replayed, as vivid as ever. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Linda, annoyed by Alex's absence, forgot about him upon seeing Stella's messages. Back home, Alex packed his things. Toothbrushes, slippers, pajamas, everything they shared. While packing, he accidentally knocked over a photo frame on his nightstand with his elbow. It fell to the floor with a dull thud, shattering the dust-covered glass, and the ill-fitting photo inside slipped out. As he turned to grab a broom to clean up, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something under the broken glass. There was more than one photo. His heart sank. He had a hunch about the answer. He gently nudged aside the glass shards and removed the cumbersome frame. To his surprise, there were actually 2 photos lying on the floor. When he flipped the pictures over, he saw that behind the photo of him and Linda was a picture of his brother from college. Alex held up the 2 photos in the blinding light, layering them. His brother's face replaced his. At that moment, he realized that when Linda glanced back then, she wasn't looking at him. That winter, during the first snowfall, Alex had complained during the photo, "You're not even looking at me. I'm not that tall." Linda had been lost in the camera's viewfinder, eventually offering a faint smile. "Is that so? Let's retake it then." Alex slumped to the floor, unfazed by the glass shards embedded in his palms. He'd thought that for at least a moment, Linda had liked him, but he never imagined that even in those fleeting moments, her gaze wasn't for him. Suddenly, his phone rang. As he tried to stand, pain from his hand snapped him back to reality. He struggled to his feet and answered the call. It was Stella, and it sounded chaotic on her end. Alex could barely decipher what she was saying. He could only pick out a few words to piece together that Linda was causing a fuss about leaving the hospital for some celebrity's birthday. Hearing this, he irritably dabbed at the blood on his hands with some tissues. Let her be. If she doesn't care for her own health, nobody can persuade her. A brief silence followed, and Alex realized it was yet another test. Throughout the years, he had been nothing more than a nominal boyfriend in Linda's circle. She enjoyed testing his sincerity, seeing him worry over her, something she would relish. It dawned on Alex that all this was because he looked too much like his brother. Linda felt pangs of Victor's concern for her through Alex's face. But he was done with these tedious, cheap games. Stella was taken aback by his words, awkwardly glancing at Linda, who was pulling the covers aside to get out of bed. "Never mind if he's not coming. Let's have fun," Linda said, prompting cheers from everyone except Stella in the room. Stella wanted to say more, but realized Alex had hung up at some point. Half a month later, Linda hadn't done any wedding preparations. No invites, no sweets, no dress, no venue. Stella felt a bit sorry for Alex. Meanwhile, Alex disinfected and tended to his wounds alone. When he finished, he looked at his half-packed luggage and his bandaged hands. He knew he couldn't manage alone. He called a moving company. They worked quickly, packing and boxing everything. 3 hours later, all his belongings were loaded onto a truck. Alex sent them an address. "Deliver everything here." After they left, Alex walked to the yard with his suitcase. He deleted his fingerprints and left the keys under the rug. Snowflakes began to fall, melting into sparkling droplets on him. A sudden, urgent ringtone cut through the silence. He looked at the screen. It was Linda. This shocked him. In 3 years of dating, she'd rarely called, usually just sent curt messages. After hesitating, he answered. "The usual spot. Come." She sounded impatient, confident he'd show up as always. Alex backed out. "No, feeling sick. Can't drink." After a pause, her tone softened. "Not for drinks. Some execs are here, wanted to talk about that project you worked on." It wasn't an excuse he could easily reject. Though he'd left the job, the project was almost complete. A success would mean a contractual payout. Turning down money? Never. Soon, he arrived at the place via cab. As he opened the door, someone hiding behind it threw creamy cake directly at his face. Laughter erupted around him, the room buzzing with deafening sound. Confetti popping, shouts, and party horns blaring. Took a moment for Alex to realize he'd been pranked again. Wiping the creamy mess from his face, he prepared to lash out. Instead, Thomas approached with a cake. "Alex, it's my birthday. Having cake on the face is a tradition." Thomas's sunny disposition strove to turn the prank into harmless fun. Losing his temper would label Alex a spoilsport, ruining everyone else's good time. Surveying the room, everyone had a small bit of cream on their faces, even Linda, except him. He turned to the silent woman in the center. "Where are they?" Linda raised a questioning brow. "Who?" She feigned ignorance. Realizing it was another trick, because he hadn't willingly played the fool, Alex quietly left to clean up. But when he turned on the tap, he saw his bandaged hands. Cream seeped into the fabric, mingling with blood. He felt drained of all energy. Facing the mirror, he cautiously unwrapped the bandages, letting the icy water cleanse his injuries. Pain might keep him awake to this truth. Linda sat uncomfortably in the room, refusing a cigarette and swatting it away irritably as Stella saw through her facade. "Go get him. At least apologize," Stella urged. Linda scoffed, masking her anxiety. "Apologize? For what?" He was late. The partners wouldn't have waited. "If it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have the deal. Didn't thank me. Gave me attitude instead." Stella tried to reason despite her silence. "But he didn't know you secured the deal." He walked in with cream on his face, still asking about the clients after the prank. Who wouldn't be mad? Linda rarely listened to Stella. She awkwardly stood up, grabbed her cigarettes and phone, and headed outside. Before leaving, she gave herself a little out. "I'm going out to get some air." Linda found Alex as he was borrowing a hairdryer from the staff. He had washed the cream out of his hair, but it wouldn't dry quickly. Plus, it was freezing outside. Stepping out would turn him into an ice sculpture. Alex noticed Linda out of the corner of his eye but acted as though he didn't. Instead, he stood by the mirror, drying his hair. Linda watched his stubborn posture and suddenly felt like he was different somehow. She remembered how, in the past, Alex would run to her in tears whenever he was upset, throwing himself into her arms to complain. But now, he calmly sorted through his emotions and straightened his clothes, showing no signs of anger or dependency. She walked over and took the hairdryer from Alex's hands. Startled by her actions, Alex quickly dodged her hand. "No, it's fine. I can do it myself." Linda snatched the hairdryer back. Her slightly cool fingers touched Alex's, and he instinctively pulled away. "What's wrong?" she asked, frowning. "Nothing," Alex replied awkwardly. "Just tickles, that's all." Linda, for once, explained herself. "That little star is someone my mom pushed on me. It's his birthday, so I had to do something." Alex nodded softly, which Linda took as a sign of understanding. Standing there too long made her legs ache. She remembered something and suddenly spoke up. "Oh, about the wedding. I missed it. I've already asked a factory to make samples for the invitations and wedding favors. Plus, a famous designer from abroad is working on the dress, and he'll be here the day after tomorrow. Is there anything else you think we need?" Her gaze locked with Alex's reflection in the mirror, hoping he'd show some excitement at her words. However, Alex was worn out by all this talk. The constant delays and indifference about the wedding had made him not want to go through with it. He even planned to skip out, leaving Linda as the town's joke. Thinking of this, Alex chuckled. "No, nothing's missing. You just go ahead and plan." Seeing him finally smile, Linda nodded. Suddenly, she felt something odd stick to her hand. Loosening her grip on the hairdryer, she discovered unexpected blood on her palm. She paused briefly before discreetly checking Alex's hand. His skin was pale and scary from being soaked, yet his palm was bloodied, with droplets slipping off his fingers, landing on the floor. She placed the hairdryer on the sink, hesitating. "Your hand," Alex snapped out of it, and seeing Linda's worried look in the mirror, gave a forced smile. No big deal. Just cut it slicing fruit. Linda seemed unfazed. Next time, let the maids do it. What she didn't know was Alex had let them go. Some weren't trustworthy and had stolen while he was with Linda at the hospital. It was only by chance that Alex caught them red-handed when he'd gone home to retrieve something, or else the whole house would have been cleaned out. I'll take you to get the cut checked? Alex was about to decline when Stella's urgent calls interrupted. Both turned to see Stella breathless, leaning against a wall, motioning with her other hand for them to follow. Linda, it's Thomas, What about him? Linda quickly asked. Stella explained with difficulty after swallowing hard. While lighting up, he accidentally set his hair on fire. Now he's freaking out in the suite, and no one can calm him down. You should check on him. Without hesitation, Linda dashed towards the suite. Stella was about to leave when Alex stopped her in a gentle but cold tone. Stella, what's the deal with Thomas and Linda? Stella halted, hesitant to face him. Eventually, with a heavy sigh, she turned to meet Alex's eyes. Basically, they're like siblings. Thomas's family went bankrupt over 20 years ago, and so he stayed with Linda's. They've always been like brother and sister. But all of us could see Thomas liked Linda. He stayed abroad until he heard about Linda's accident and rushed back. Linda's mom arranged for him to sign with the Smiths Entertainment Company. With Linda backing him, he'd have it easy. Alex pieced it together immediately. No wonder Thomas felt so at ease by Linda's hospital bed, feeding her soup. No wonder he dared to smear cream on her face in front of everyone. And no wonder the fastidious Linda let Thomas do it without throwing a fit. It was clear Linda had allowed it all. After dealing with Thomas's issue, Linda remembered Alex and reached for her coat to leave, only for Thomas to grab her wrist. She glanced down at his hopeful expression as if wanting to speak. Ever since I got back, Thomas began, I've been renting. It's a bit uncomfortable. Can I move back home? Linda checked her watch, nodding absently. As your sister, of course, you can stay. I'll make sure you get a spare key. But Alex and I are getting married soon. Living with us might not be best. If you find a place you like, I'll buy it for you. Thomas, unsatisfied, reluctantly agreed. He released Linda's wrist, knowing pushing further was pointless. When Alex received Linda's call, he'd just put his things away in the hotel. Linda sounded eager on the line. Where'd you go? Just shopping. Why? Alex replied unhurriedly. A second of silence followed. Then, I'm being discharged today. Will you come pick me up? Sure, Alex agreed. After hanging up, he took a cab to the hospital. Once Linda was ready with her bags, standing with Alex at the entrance, chilling wind blew around them. Didn't drive? Linda asked curiously. Alex nodded, pulling out his phone to call a car. To his surprise, Linda just waited patiently beside him, unlike before when she would have thrown a fit. Back home, Linda instinctively waited for Alex to unlock the door, but after a long pause he hadn't moved. As they met each other's gaze, Alex quickly made something up. Left in a rush, forgot my keys. She seemed unsurprised, probably used to Alex's forgetful ways. In that instant coming inside, the house felt strangely empty to Linda, like something was missing, yet she couldn't pinpoint what. After surveying the room, she turned to Alex. What happened to the maids? Caught them stealing. Fired them, he replied, placing her bags in the living room. Linda nodded thoughtfully. If someone's stealing, let them go. We'll just hire someone else. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Alex was closest to the door. He walked over and opened it to find 7 or 8 suitcases on the doorstep. Thomas bypassed Alex, who had opened the door for him, and headed straight for Linda, sitting on the couch. Linda, why didn't you tell me when you were discharged? I could have picked you up. Linda smiled, changing the subject. Did you check out the script for the show the company arranged for you? You'll be working with some popular actors. It'll be a test of your skills. Thomas transformed from the lively character he was earlier to an affectionate puppy. He leaned his head on Linda's shoulder, acting all innocent. I knew you cared for me. You've got the best projects lined up for me. Don't worry. I won't let you down. Linda nodded, satisfied with his words. The cold wind howled outside. Alex stood by the door and watched the cheerful scene unfold, suddenly feeling like an outsider. The first time Linda brought Alex home to discuss marriage, it was because Alex pushed her to do it. But as soon as she mentioned it, Linda's mom was the first to object. How many times will you fall for a green? They're nothing compared to us Smiths. I won't ever agree to this marriage. Her dad, Calvin, tearfully demanded. What spell did they cast on my daughter? First it was your brother, now it's your brother? What was supposed to be a happy family dinner fell apart. Afterward, Linda returned to their home, mocking Alex's guilty expression. You pushed it and look where it got us. Happy now? A few days later, Linda went on a reckless drive with friends, and that's when the accident happened. Outside the ER, Linda's mom and Calvin were in tears, promising that if Linda was okay, she could do as she wished. Alex was jolted back to the present by their laughter. I'm heading out, he said. Linda realized she'd ignored Alex again. She stood up, blocking his way. Where are you going? Don't we live together? Alex brushed his windswept hair. We're not married yet. We shouldn't live together. People might talk, you know? Linda was about to reply when Thomas chimed in. Alex is right. You don't want him becoming a laughingstock. Alex's eyes met Thomas's smug grin, and he found it a bit childish. Linda didn't stop Alex. The next day and the following day, Alex came over to look at wedding invitations with Linda. Everything was perfect. Linda felt at ease and noticed how Alex seemed kinder and more accommodating lately. It made her look forward to their married life. Then came the wedding day. Thomas was strangely quiet. Despite Linda's messages, he hadn't replied. She nervously clutched her phone and tried to explain to Alex. Thomas took on a period drama. He's really busy, and it involves wire work. I worry if he's handling it. He hasn't replied all morning. Linda was so busy calling Thomas that she barely paid attention to Alex. He didn't care about Thomas and wasn't about to pry. With only 2 hours before the ceremony, Alex was thinking about his getaway. Once more guests arrived, he could slip out easily. What did you say? Linda's anxious voice snapped Alex back. Her words turned out to be true. Thomas had an accident on set. The director called Linda, saying he got hurt during a scene. She quickly pressed down on Alex's shoulder, her eyes red. Sorry, Alex, Thomas got hurt. I have to go. He asked now. Yes. I'm really sorry. Can we postpone the wedding? Realizing she was overstepping, Linda promised, I'll be back by evening. Alex, please wait for me? With his chance clear, Alex agreed easily. Sure. Linda was surprised at how easy and genuine his response was. Alex was exactly who she wanted now, making her secretly happy. They'd be the couple everyone envied, she was sure. I'm leaving. Linda rushed out, pausing at the hotel entrance. Her groom stood there, handsome in his suit. Alex would wait. As soon as Linda's car vanished from sight, Alex changed, grabbed his pre-packed suitcase, and quietly left. 2 hours later, both bride and groom were missing, leaving guests in chaos. No one knew if it was postponed or canceled. No answers were given. Meanwhile, Alex was boarding a flight. He discarded his SIM card, leaving his past behind without a glance back. Linda immediately contacted their family doctor to meet her at Thomas's location. Throughout the ride, her emotions surged. Anxiety drained her. When Linda arrived, the doctor was already there. Thomas was in the center, surrounded by people. The doctor squeezed in to check on him, but Thomas screamed, clutching his head. Everyone stood confused, unsure of what to do. Linda pushed through the crowd to reach him. Thomas, recognizing her, burst into tears and clung to her hand. While she worried about Alex, Linda spoke calmly. Let the doctor check you, Thomas. We need to see if you're hurt. Okay? Thomas hesitated, dread showing in his eyes. My leg hurts. Maybe it's injured, he mumbled. Linda nodded, signaling the doctor to proceed. But as the doctor approached, Thomas recoiled. The doctor tried reasoning, Thomas, it's just a checkup. It won't hurt. If you're injured, delaying can be worse. Please cooperate so we can help. Seeing Thomas's reluctance, Linda grew suspicious. Her patience was wearing thin. She shouted, "Thomas, stop wasting time and let the doctor do his job." Her voice echoed across the set, prompting the director to smartly clear the area. Shocked by Linda's outburst, Thomas reluctantly extended his leg. After checking, the doctor found no injury on Thomas. Linda fumed at the lie. Thinking of Alex's understanding made her feel even worse. She couldn't be bothered to argue with Thomas and walked straight to her car. Seeing her leave, Thomas hastened to catch up. He clung to Linda's arm like he used to, whining, "Linda, I just wanted to see if you've forgotten your little brother now that you're married. But it seems like you still remember me." Seeing Linda's face remain expressionless, Thomas continued, "There's a new restaurant that just opened nearby. Won't you accompany me for a meal?" Before he could finish, Linda forcefully shook off Thomas's hand. "Get lost." Thomas stumbled backward, having leaned his weight on Linda. As she pushed him away, he lost his balance and fell. Linda's voice was icy cold and full of disdain, and her look towards Thomas became more hostile. "It's my wedding day, and you tricked me with such petty schemes. What was your intention? I told you even if I got married, you'd still be my brother. Why would you do all this?" Sitting on the ground, Thomas looked at Linda in disbelief. His eyes started to well up, tears falling like broken strings of pearls. He wanted to explain, but words failed him. All he could do was watch powerlessly as Linda's car drove away. In the car, Linda reached for her phone to call Alex when her father called. Once she answered, Calvin's furious scolding hit her like a storm. "Where did you go today? What kind of stunt are you and your groom pulling? Are you trying to drive me insane?" Knowing she was at fault, Linda's voice turned somber. "Something came up on my side, so we had to delay the wedding." Calvin was enraged. His furious voice continued to bark through the phone. By that time, Linda had reached the wedding venue. Ignoring Calvin's unrelenting yelling, she hung up the call. She sprinted towards the entrance. Opening the door to the wedding hall, she found it empty and dark. The decorations from earlier that morning lay scattered, rustling slightly with the wind she let in. She tried calling Alex, but the mechanical voice answered every time. "The number you're calling is currently unavailable." Disbelieving, she redialed several times with the same result. Desperate, she sent a series of messages. "Alex, are you mad at me? I went overboard. I'm sorry. Could you at least reply or pick up my call?" Yet, the lack of response from normally quick replying Alex was unnerving. She convinced herself he was just upset, giving her the cold shoulder. Linda asked her HR colleague to reach out to Alex instead. The colleague replied puzzled, "Linda, Alex resigned a while ago. Didn't you know?" Linda's grip on the phone tightened in shock. "What? Quit? No way." More bewildered, the colleague explained, "Company policy is against office romances. So Alex resigned about half a month ago." Hanging up, Linda rushed out to her car, unable to believe Alex had quit. She needed to find out at the office. Arriving at the company, Linda's phone rang again, and hope filled her until she saw Thomas's name on the screen. She tossed the phone to her assistant, who answered it professionally, stating Linda was busy. In Alex's office, everything was gone. No personal effects, not even a pen left behind. Not wanting to accept reality, she staggered back to her office. There, on her desk, lay Alex's resignation letter. She checked the date hurriedly. It was indeed stamped on Thomas's birthday, 2 weeks prior. She recalled Alex's calm agreement to the wedding delay. No complaints, no hesitations, almost as if he had anticipated it. Then it clicked that everything of his at home disappeared overnight. His explanation of avoiding gossip before marriage seemed less convincing considering their years of cohabitation. She had missed all the signs. Panicked, she picked up the letter, turning it slightly to reveal Alex's handwriting on the back. "Let's break up, Linda." The stark words cut deep. Her heart ached with a numbing thud. Still in denial, she refused to believe Alex would leave so silently. Remembering his words about returning home if things went sour, Linda booked the earliest flight back to S City. The journey wasn't short. Alex's plane hit turbulence and had to redirect, delaying his arrival until late that night. Emerging from the terminal at S-City, Alex spotted his parents waiting. Huddled close against the chill, their love seemed untouched by time. He adjusted his coat and headed towards them. On the drive, Alex deflected his dad's inquiries about a city with light-hearted chuckles. Everything was fine. No one mentioned Linda. It was as if she were erased from their lives. In the car, his bank account suddenly chimed with a new deposit. Recognizing Linda's company account, he was bewildered. He was no longer employed there, but the sum was substantial, far more than any salary. Puzzled, he decided to ignore it for now. Arriving home, the gate swung open in welcome. A woman was standing in the room with a big smile on her face. Her eyes sparkled like stars, and she wore an apron that didn't quite fit. In her hands was a spatula for cooking. When she saw Alex with a suitcase, Vivian hurriedly put down the spatula to help him with his luggage. Alex was thrown off by the sight of the face before him. A face he hadn't seen in over 10 years, and that seemed a bit unfamiliar now. Once he regained his composure, he pulled his suitcase away, silently refusing her help. Thanks, but no thanks. Vivian didn't seem deterred by his refusal. When Alex struggled with the suitcase on the steps, she reached out to steady him as he nearly stumbled. Feeling embarrassed for trying too hard to be independent, Alex quietly mumbled a thank you and walked into the house. Before he could set down his suitcase, familiar voices echoed through the house. Alex, have you missed me all these years? Surprised, Alex looked up to see Vivian's father approaching him. When Alex was a kid, his parents often weren't around because they were working to make more money. Even though they hired a nanny to take care of him and his brother, the nanny was more interested in money than her job. Back then, without surveillance cameras, she'd pocket most of the grocery money. Their meals were meager, leaving Alex and Victor constantly hungry. One day, the aroma of braised pork ribs wafted through the air to their home. Hungry, Alex knocked on the neighbor's door with his little bowl. After the door opened, he nervously asked, "Uncle, can we have some meat?" Even after all these years, Uncle was still just as gentle. Alex took a few steps forward to hug him and said, "Yes, and I still want your braised pork ribs." Everyone laughed, and Alex's mom invited them all to sit down. Once the last dish was served, everyone began eating. Alex hadn't rested well on his flight. The layovers and turbulence left him drained. He just wanted to finish dinner fast and crash into bed. But the dinner conversation veered toward his least favorite topic, marriage. He quickly downed a few mouthfuls of food and was about to leave when his aunt playfully asked, "Alex, did you meet any nice girls while in City? Caught, Alex reluctantly nodded, "Yes, but they're not interested in me." His parents exchanged looks and started their pep talk. "You're not getting any younger, almost 29. It's time to find someone and get married." Responding with half-hearted nods, Alex wished he could disappear. Luckily, Vivian changed the subject, giving him a much-needed break. When the clock struck midnight and guests left, Alex's father cautiously asked him, "Do you have any feelings for Vivian at all?" Sighing, Alex closed his eyes and revealed the truth behind his distancing himself. "It's not me she likes. It's my brother." Mentioning Victor darkened his parents' expressions. Realizing he had brought up painful memories of his late brother, Alex felt guilty. After his brother's passing, Alex rarely came home. He knew his face reminded his parents of Victor. As he lay in bed watching the snow outside, Alex made a decision. He was an adult now and needed his own place, not to live with his parents. All those years in City paid off. Working with Linda, he had saved enough to buy a 400 square meter apartment in one of the central areas of City S. No mortgage needed. His parents didn't object, even offering to help with the renovation costs. But Alex insisted on covering it all himself. House hunting went smoothly, and Alex loved the location. When night fell, the riverside view was like a flowing painting. The buying process wrapped up quickly, leaving just the renovation work. Returning home one day, he spotted a new luxury car blocking his driveway. The car's windows were tinted, revealing nothing about its occupants. He honked, but the car didn't budge. Alex, still in high spirits from buying a house, wasn't irritated. He simply got out to ask the driver to move. Tapping on the window, an older woman inside gestured him over. "I'm just the driver. You should talk to my boss." The back window opened, revealing Linda's familiar face. The good mood vanished. Alex never expected Linda to follow him here. Standing firm, his voice turned flat. "Could you please move your car?" "Thank you." Caught off guard by his tone, Linda stammered, "Alex, why did you leave without a word? We just agreed to postpone the wedding, didn't we?" Alex didn't want to engage further. When Linda made no move to leave, he called building security. Linda stepped out, gently grabbing his wrist. "Don't be mad. Come back with me," she pleaded, her voice heavy with a cold. Ending the call with security on its way, Alex looked at Linda seriously. "We didn't register our marriage. We're not legally married, and since we're over, we should act like we're dead to each other. Let's not interfere in each other's lives again." Linda wouldn't let go. "When did we break up? Are you upset over the client meeting? The deal's done, money transferred. I just wanted—" Now Alex understood that mysterious payment a while back. He pulled away, rubbing his sore wrist. "So, thanks, Linda, for closing that deal for me." Trying to continue, Linda was interrupted by security arriving to address her parking. Alex had no interest in further conversation. He told security she doesn't live here. Don't let her in again. After agreeing, security spoke with Linda. Alex got in his car, watching Linda eventually drive away. Inside, Alex's father approached awkwardly. "That was Linda outside, right? She waited for hours." His mother's face darkened as she kicked some expensive gifts Linda had left. "Chasing you here?" Seeing the gifts, Alex was frustrated. "Linda left these? Now things are more tangled." His father explained, "We didn't want them, but she insisted. With neighbors watching, we couldn't refuse." Determined, Alex immediately scheduled a courier pickup. There was no way Linda would accept these back in person, so sending them to her office to avoid complications. When the courier arrived, Alex firmly chose cash on delivery before heading back inside. As he walked to the door, a familiar figure approached. Just then, Vivian emerged with boxes of festive goodies in hand, smiling as she came over, getting ready for the new year. "My mom and I picked these out. Snacks for you, tea for your dad, skincare for your mom." A sharp question cut through Vivian's words. "Alex, who is she?" Alex's gaze moved past Vivian to Linda. Her cheeks were kind of flushed, her eyes looked dazed, and her chapped lips all screamed that Linda was sick. She was a lady who rarely got sick, but when she did, it was bad. Vivian saw Linda wasn't feeling well. She tried to help her, but Linda snapped at her. Even though Vivian had a great temperament, dealing with Linda made her frustrated. Alex stepped in between them. He looked at Linda and saw she was really trying to tough it out. She even refused to go to the hospital. He adjusted his coat and said, "If you don't want to die, get your driver to take you to the hospital. If you want to die, don't do it at my doorstep. Walk 20 miles west. There's a cemetery there." After saying that, he didn't hesitate and went inside with Vivian, who had come to drop off a gift. But they hadn't walked far when they heard a thud. They turned around and saw Linda had collapsed in the snow. Eventually, Alex and Vivian took Linda to the hospital. The doctor took her temperature and frowned. 102 degrees. Almost cooked her brain. Why didn't she come sooner? Alex and Vivian exchanged glances and lied in unison. "We found her on the street. Don't know her." The doctor seemed satisfied with that and gave Linda some medicine and had a nurse start in 4. Linda was still unconscious, and Alex didn't want any drama, so he grabbed her phone and called Stella. Stella answered after a ring, sounding a bit lazy. "Hey, how's chasing after him going? Did his parents kick you out?" Alex just sighed. "Not sure, I wasn't home." Silence from Stella. If his phone didn't show they were still connected, Alex would have thought she hung up. Breaking the silence, Alex said, "Linda's in the hospital. Come pick her up and take her back to City A. I'll text you the hospital address." Stella seemed to snap back to reality, stammering, "What? Hospital? How did that happen? Did you two make up?" Without waiting to hear her out, Alex hung up the call. He noticed Linda had him pinned in her contacts. He recalled when they first started dating, he'd bugged her to do it. She seemed annoyed then, asking, "What's with the pinning obsession? I don't pin anyone." Reminiscing, he saw a message from her. "Did you stop wanting me?" Clearly, it was sent to him. As his fingers browsed for Stella's chat, a call came in. By bad luck, he accidentally answered. His screen showed Thomas. On the other line, frantic calls for Linda's name. Alex hesitated but decided to be upfront. He shouted into the phone, "Stop calling. Linda's sick and unconscious right now. If you're free, you and Stella should come to City S to get her." On that note, the person on the line went quiet. Everyone today seemed to think silence was a cure-all. Alex hung up and returned the phone to Linda's side. Just then, Vivian broke the silence. "That's Linda, right?" Alex nodded, not surprised Vivian recognized her. They both had chased after Victor loudly. Linda constantly flew back and forth, convinced Victor wouldn't leave without Vivian seeing her face. Presumably, they'd met and perhaps even fought. Once Linda returned from abroad with a bruised face. Nothing major but enough to raise questions. Back then, Alex was the secretary, so he only got her ointment under the assistant's orders. Linda got chewed out by Calvin, who also took it out on the assistant. Back home, Alex paused at the door. He felt there were things he needed to clarify with Vivian, who seemed puzzled by his halt. He turned to face her. "I think we should clear things up." Vivian quietly asked, "What's on your mind?" Taking a deep breath, Alex said, "If you see me as a stand-in for my brother like Linda did, then this silly game can end. I'm not a substitute. I'm just Alex. I'm not as talented as my brother, can't study abroad, and don't have admirers chasing me. I lead a plain life." Vivian raised her eyebrows, smiling warmly. "Is that it?" Alex hesitated. This feeling had lingered for so long, waiting for the right time to confess. But Vivian, surprisingly, seemed relieved, not embarrassed, meeting his gaze. "I've never seen you as anyone's substitute. I like you for you." Vivian thought her words would move Alex, but he snapped like a cat getting startled. "You're lying." He didn't give her a chance to argue. He forcefully shut the garden gate, leaving her outside without looking back. Vivian stood there, confused as Alex walked away. For the next few days, Alex stayed home. Linda hadn't shown up, probably back in City A with Stella. After he laid it all out with Vivian, she never returned to his house. Alex's mom, feeling uneasy, sipped her tea and looked at Alex, lazily watching cartoons. "Really, got no feelings for Vivian? She's quite the catch, you know. Many at her company would jump at the chance. Why waste it?" Alex shrugged in reply. His parents exchanged glances. His dad brought over some documents and nudged him. "Alex, Uncle shared some girls' profiles with us around your age. Your dad's been setting you up with some great girls. You're not getting any younger. It's time to find someone. You can't give up the whole forest just because of one dead tree like Linda, right?" Alex has been hearing these words so often that he's tired of it. To avoid more of these tricky situations, he took the documents from his dad, pretended to study them for a few minutes, and then agreed, Okay, I'll go on a date tomorrow. Happy now?" Seeing some progress, the worried look on the parents' faces finally relaxed. The next day, while heading out, Alex ran into his uncle on his way out. After they exchanged greetings, Alex asked, "Where are you headed in such a hurry, Uncle?" His uncle, looking a little troubled, glanced at the folder in his hand. "Vivian left some documents at home that she needs for a meeting. I gotta take them to her." Alex nodded. "Okay, don't let me hold you up." Uncle paused at the car door, looking slyly at Alex. "Hey Alex, where are you headed?" "My leg's been acting up, driving's tough." He rubbed his knee, acting as if it really hurt. Alex checked his phone. "To that coffee shop, the one near the big tree." Uncle's smile was almost too hard to hide. Bending over his leg again, "Well, that coffee shop's right by Vivian's office. Could you drop these off for me?" With no way to dodge the request, Alex took the folder and got going without delay, driving to Vivian's office. He hadn't been there before and didn't know which floor her office was on, so he hesitated before heading to the reception desk. "Hi, could you make sure this gets to Vivian?" The receptionist took the folder and looked surprised upon seeing the snowflake logo in the top corner. "Could you leave your name and number?" Alex scribbled down his details, handed back the pen, and left. Arriving at the coffee shop, he was 3 minutes late. Feeling bad, he immediately started explaining, "I apologize for the delay. I got held up." The woman across from him tapped the table impatiently. "Okay, enough with the niceties. Let's get to it. Got a car? What kind? Got a house? How big? Where is it? How many relationships? Education? Savings? You think you can catch a sugar mama with your situation?" As she spoke, her spit sprayed across the table. Alex had to avoid her chemical assault by standing up. Holding back laughter, he retorted, "You got a draft going here? Never seen a mirror or what? Is your reflection matte?" The spit-flying woman seemed like she could make anyone feel dirty. As he moved to leave, the woman grabbed his wrist. "How dare you insult me? You need a lesson. After marriage, you'll walk all over me otherwise." She said this while raising her hand to hit him. Without hesitation, he grabbed the hot coffee from the table and splashed it on her face. She screamed, loosening her grip, and Alex took off toward the door. As he did, he ran into someone entering. The familiar scent of cologne mixed with disinfectant hit him, and he lifted his head, meeting Linda's eyes. Her previously dull eyes brightened instantly at the sight of Alex, though before she could speak, the woman with the coffee-stained face charged in. The woman locked eyes with Alex, hurling foul words and reaching out to grab him, as Linda quickly stepped in front to block her. Even with a voice weakened by illness, Linda's words carried weight. "If you have something to say it to me." Suddenly, rapid footsteps approached. Alex turned to see Stella and Thomas rushing over, followed by several bodyguards. The woman, shorter than Linda, had already lost her composure but wasn't ready to give up without a fight. "This jerk used boiling coffee on me. My new high-end suit. That's $1,000. I demand tenfold compensation." The woman screamed like she wouldn't stop until she got her way. Hearing her insults, Linda's gaze turned icy. "What did you call him?" The woman, oblivious to her mistake, continued yelling, "What's he to you?" Playing the hero for... Linda didn't let her finish, and the fist came swinging, leading to a scuffle. Alex and a distressed Stella separated them, but Linda, still recovering from an illness, was at a disadvantage despite her height. Trying to mediate, Stella urged, "Let's not fight. Okay? We can talk this over." Thomas, like a worried ant, fussed nearby, concerned for Linda. "Linda, you okay? Did you get hurt?" Seeing the bruises on Linda's hand, Thomas turned to Alex, scolding him loudly. "You left, remember? Why come back into her life? If you're leaving, do it right. Don't play stupid games." As the root of today's chaos, Alex couldn't just walk away. But Thomas's wailing was irritating. Annoyed, Alex snapped, "All you do is cry. Can't you be useful for once? Besides playing third wheel." Hearing those last words, Thomas's face went pale with anger. Ignoring him, Alex turned to the woman now sitting on the floor holding her face. When their eyes met, she flinched. Apparently, Linda had scared her good. With a commanding presence, Alex said, "I'll pay for the suit at cost, but you need to apologize. If you insist on tenfold, we'll need to involve the authorities." The woman wasn't stupid and guessed quickly that Linda wasn't just anyone. Either from wealth or connections, she was outmatched. So, she awkwardly stood and muttered a sorry to Alex. There wasn't much sincerity in her words, but Alex didn't care. After the payment was sorted via a quick app transfer, the woman limped happily out of the cafe. Facing Linda again, Alex noticed the tension fade as Stella wisely escorted Thomas away, leaving them some space. As Stella and Thomas's figures faded, Alex braced himself, seeing the damage to the decor from the earlier fight. Shop staff were on call to the manager. In this newfound quiet, neither knew what to say. Silence reigned until Alex finally broke it. Thanks for stepping in." Linda controlled her emotions and gave a calm nod. "Anytime." After a pause, she asked cautiously. Who was she? Unconcerned, Alex said bluntly. A date set up by my parents. Linda's lips tightened, her furrowed brow hinting at underlying worry. Alex hesitated for a long time but finally decided to come clean with Linda about accidentally breaking the picture frame. However, he didn't mention seeing Victor's photo. It took Linda a moment to realize which frame Alex was talking about. Just as she was about to say it was okay, she suddenly remembered the other photo hidden behind the frame. Linda was smart. She could connect the dots from a small clue and uncover the truths people tried hard to hide. In that instant, she understood why Alex left. He had discovered that she saw him as a stand-in, and the person he was standing in for was none other than his own brother. From Alex's perspective, what a tragic thing that must have been. I'm sorry. Linda's apology seemed a bit abrupt. Alex was caught off guard when he heard it. After he processed it, he smiled, feeling relieved. It's okay. It's all in the past. She wanted to say more but was interrupted by the cafe owner hurrying over. Stella stopped the manager from approaching Linda and casually took out her phone. Linda knew if she wanted to mend this relationship, she needed to do something. So she looked at Alex with intense sincerity. Alex, give me a chance to pursue you all over again. I was wrong before, terribly wrong, and I want to make it right. Alex showed a hint of surprise in his eyes, but then he calmly lowered his head. No need, Linda. We're good like this without bothering each other's lives. If possible, I really hope we never see each other again. As soon as he finished speaking, Alex spotted Vivian at the door. She didn't look like she was there for coffee. It seemed she was looking for someone. When her eyes found Alex, a soft smile spread across her face, and she confidently walked towards him. I'm done. Ready to go home? She said it so naturally, as if Alex had been waiting for her the whole time. Alex didn't want to stay any longer, so he picked up his bag and stood. Seeing the slight redness in Linda's eyes and her reluctance to speak, Alex acknowledged her before leaving. I'm heading out. Linda nodded reluctantly, her voice barely audible. Okay. Alex was about to open his car door when he noticed Vivian following him. You didn't drive here? No, Vivian replied, shaking her head. My car had an issue this morning. It's at the repair shop. You wouldn't be so heartless as to leave me stranded, would you? She smiled. Being neighbors, and knowing her uncle, Alex couldn't leave her behind. He tossed her the car keys and walked to the passenger side. You drive. Vivian caught the keys and cheerfully ran to the driver's side. All right. Inside the car, Vivian tentatively asked, Heard you went on a date today? Thinking of the strange woman, Alex rubbed his temples. Yeah, I did. How'd it go? So smooth, it ended in a fight, Alex said sarcastically. I don't know where my dad finds these weirdos. He said he screened them too. What a joke. Listening to Alex complain about his disastrous date, a flicker of amusement crossed Vivian's face as her lips subtly curled upwards. Back home, Vivian held out her hand to Alex. What? We haven't exchanged contact info yet. After swapping message details, they each headed to their respective homes. Alex flopped on the sofa, letting himself relax. Hearing him come in, his parents quickly checked in about the date. Upon hearing how rude the woman was, Alex's father was incredulous. How could Uncle introduce someone like that to you? Was it the wrong date? How could it be wrong? Alex pointed to the photo on the profile. It was definitely her. The picture matches the person. Feeling guilty, Alex's father quickly presented another profile. Forget about that weirdo. How about this one? She has a car, a house, and she studied abroad. The following days, his parents kept pushing new profiles at him, turning it into a comedic routine about arranged dates. Soon after, Alex's 29th birthday arrived, right before New Year's Eve. In S-City, apart from his parents and Vivian's family, Alex knew no one. Moreover, Vivian had been on a business trip for days, so throwing a big birthday bash seemed unnecessary. He decided to treat the day like any other. But when he stepped out, he saw Linda outside his door, holding a cake. She'd been there for a while with a cake from his favorite bakery in a city. To keep it fresh and identical to a city's taste, Linda had even brought the bakery's chef to S-City at great expense. As Alex walked out, she waved. Happy birthday, Alex. Alex froze, staring at the cake in her hands. He never expected Linda to celebrate his birthday. Before, she always had excuses. The first year, she had a business trip and couldn't be with him. The second year, she was hospitalized from drinking too much, and Alex spent his birthday in the hospital with her. The third year, she finally got him a cake, but the name on it was wrong. It was his brother's name. That led to their first major fight, planting a seed of suspicion in Alex about her feelings for his brother, which her sincere apologies quickly hushed. During the past 3 years, they never properly celebrated a birthday together. Linda stood in the cold wind, her face slightly reddened, waiting for Alex's response. He hesitated, watching her genuine expression, and sighed internally as he approached her. "Why are you here?" "I came to celebrate your birthday." Linda offered him the cake. "It's the one you've always loved. I also booked a private room at the downtown restaurant." Alex interrupted her. "Let's go." He knew some things needed to be resolved in person because Linda was determined, relentless until she achieved her goal. The restaurant wasn't known for great food, but the ambience was nice, service-friendly, and it was centrally located, making it pricey. They sat down, and aesthetically pleasing but bland dishes were served. Alex wasn't there to eat and had no intention of touching the food. Linda started setting up the cake, lighting the candles. Looking at the rightly spelled name on the cake, Alex wasn't in the mood anymore. Linda got up to turn off the lights in the room, enveloping them in darkness, save for the candlelight flickering with occasional bright sparks. Softly, Linda encouraged, "Make a wish, Alex." Alex clasped his hands, closed his eyes, and after a few seconds, blew out the candles. As Linda moved to turn the lights back on, Alex stopped her. "Do you know what I wished for?" In the dark, Linda shook her head, then realized he couldn't see, and admitted, "No idea. I wish that we never see each other again." Alex said softly, barely more than a feather across Linda's heart. But the impact was enormous, almost unbearable. She opened her mouth to protest, but Alex interrupted her again. "Let me speak first, Linda. In college, I fell for you at first sight, but I watched you do everything for my brother. Back then, I thought I couldn't compete with him, so I hid my feelings, never told anyone I liked you. After he went abroad and I graduated, I thought you'd leave with him, but you didn't. I heard you two fell out, arguing intensely about the move, almost to the point of cutting all ties. Knowing you chose not to go, I worked hard to get into your company, fighting off many candidates to become your secretary. Then I saw you couldn't let him go, your desk filled with plane tickets to visit him, and gifts you wanted to send. I thought maybe this love just wasn't meant for me. Right when I was ready to give up, you showed up at my desk and asked if I wanted to be with you. I didn't hesitate to say yes. I don't know what love is, but every time I cried in front of you, and you pushed me away in annoyance, that's when I realized it wasn't love. It was disdain. I thought my sincerity could move you, but I never guessed you'd see me as a stand-in for your brother. Linda, you made me feel guilty for betraying your brother." Linda felt like something hit her in the chest hard, and for a moment, she almost lost the ability to speak. She had never looked at things from Alex's perspective. Reflecting on all of Alex's tolerance and patience over the years, she felt as if her heart was being pierced by arrows. She forced a smile, feeling defeated and regretful in the darkness. "I'm sorry. I never thought it would turn out like this." Alex stood up in the darkness. "I should go." He hadn't taken many steps before the closed door was suddenly opened from the outside, and the room was flooded with light so bright Alex could hardly open his eyes. "Alex, what do you think you are? Huh?" Linda spoke so low and vulnerable, "And here you are, pretending to be all high and mighty?" An angry female voice came from the door. Alex immediately recognized who she was. On Thomas's birthday, she was the one who smashed cake in his face and had a smirk afterward. Thomas emerged from behind her, hands on his hips, sneering. "Yeah, what kind of plastic bag is he pretending to be?" Linda scolded them loudly. "Who let you in? Get out." "Wait." Alex picked up a knife and cut the cake into several pieces under everyone's puzzled gazes. He walked towards the two standing at the door with 2 pieces of cake. Knowing what he was about to do, A smirk crept on his face. "Today's my birthday. Have some cake." The woman's puzzled look turned to disdain. "Oh, how thoughtful." Before she could finish, Alex smashed the cake into their faces, sticky frosting smearing all over them. He laughed. "You won't get mad, right?" "Oops, my bad for not mentioning this earlier. Actually, smashing face with cake is a birthday tradition for me. Hope you don't mind." He mimicked Thomas's earlier cheeky demeanor and threw their words back at them. Thomas stood there, stunned, clearly not expecting Alex to hit back with this move. The woman's rage was ignited, her eyes nearly spitting fire. Just as she was about to lash out, Linda stepped in front of Alex. Linda calmly looked at them. "Don't start trouble. This is what you owe him." The woman, disgruntled, looked at Linda and left, casting Alex a vicious glare before turning away. Once the woman left, Thomas knew staying would only bring more ridicule, so he quietly followed. Watching them leave, Linda picked up a coat hanging on the chair. "Let me take you back." Alex didn't refuse, fearing Thomas and the woman might come back. 2 against 1, it was obvious who'd lose. They were silent on the drive back. Alex unfastened his seatbelt, stepping out. Before closing the door, he looked at Linda's dark eyes and said, "Linda, go back to a city. Don't come back." Linda neither nodded nor shook her head. She just quietly looked at the man who's been by her side for 3 years. Her eyes welled up. "Happy New Year in advance." Alex nodded. As he shut the car door, he thought he heard Linda's voice breaking. Probably just imagined it. Linda, a woman of her stature, crying over him seemed impossible. New Year's Eve. After dinner, while helping his father clean up, Vivian called out from outside. Through the window, he saw Vivian outside, her eyes shimmering and a soft smile on her lips, holding fireworks in her hand. "Alex, come out and light fireworks with me." Alex meant to decline, but his mother urged. "Go on, it's only these few days in a year, you can have some fun." They found a quiet, open space. Alex wasn't a fan of fireworks. When he was a kid, he and his brother went by the river. A girl their age loved throwing fireworks at people. She'd laugh as others panicked. Alex, not lucky, became her next target. When fireworks exploded near him, he panicked, collapsing tearfully. His brother angrily confronted the girl but was shoved down by her parent. Since then, Alex disliked fireworks. Vivian had brought child-safe fireworks, which seemed reassuring. Vivian lit a sparkler, offering it to him. "Want to try?" With courage, Alex reached for it, but pulled back when hot metal touched his fingers. The sparkler quickly burned out in Vivian's hand. Alex couldn't get past his fear and apologized. "Sorry." Vivian wasn't mad, just smiled and shook her head, handing him another sparkler. Alex watched as she brought the lighter closer, his hand trembling. Suddenly, fireworks erupted loudly nearby, drawing their attention. A dozen soared skywards, exploding beautifully. "Alex, I lit these fireworks for you." Linda's voice echoed from shadows. Thomas, Stella, and several bodyguards stood behind her. From a distance, Alex felt Thomas's hatred. What was he so angry about? Mad about the cake on his face? Or that Linda's fireworks weren't for him? Alex didn't care enough to figure it out. Linda had waited outside his house for a while, knowing his parents didn't welcome her. But she didn't expect Vivian to beat her to the fireworks. As fireworks continued, Alex wasn't interested in them. He sighed. "Linda, you don't need to go through all this for me." Linda desperately interrupted him. "I do. I want you back. I know I've hurt you, but give me a chance to make it up. Will you?" Stella seemed exasperated, joining Linda. She searched all over the city for those fireworks. What's the harm in giving her one chance? "You used to." Alex cut her off. "You said it. Used to. What's past is past. What's it got to do with now? I'm not stuck on her. I've moved on. Why force me back?" Darkness masked their expressions. They couldn't see Alex's frustration, nor feel his breakdown, just kept reminding him of the past. When Alex finished talking, the place went dead silent. All they could hear was the rustling of leaves caught by the wind, and their own breathing. Vivian thought the group was totally unreasonable. She'd finally gotten Alex to come out with her, and these people just had to show up and ruin everything. She spoke with impatience. He doesn't like you guys, doesn't like City A, and doesn't want to go back with you. If you really care about him, then please don't ever show up in front of him again. With that, she turned and left with Alex. They hadn't gone far when they heard a commotion behind them. Stella's panicked voice cut through the noise. Thomas, have you lost your mind? Linda, watch out. They turned back and saw a shadow dart in front of them almost faster than they could react. Fireworks exploded loudly around Alex. Vivian quickly pulled Alex close, covering his ears while running away. Someone must have kicked the fireworks container because the fireworks now shot off in another, empty direction. Once the fireworks were spent and everything calmed down, Linda's faint moans reached everyone's ears. Linda had gotten burned by the fireworks and was bleeding when they got her to the hospital. Thomas was held by the security, awaiting Linda's surgery to figure out what to do next. Stella was busy explaining everything to Linda's family over the phone. Alex and Vivian led the way. Alex was clueless about what just happened, but the explosions near him left him shaken. Vivian squeezed his trembling hand and reassured him, "Don't be scared. I'm here." Thomas was glaring at Alex, cursing himself for not lighting the fuse faster. If he had, Alex's face would have been destroyed. He sneered, and once all eyes were on him, he spoke up. "I don't get what's so special about you, the Greens." He snarked. "Linda and I grew up together, but ever since she met you brothers, she's changed completely. Alex, I lit those fireworks tonight. I wanted to ruin your face, make you ugly. I thought maybe then we would see if Linda liked your face or you, but I was too slow. Linda saved you. If I had been faster, you'd be the one in the ER." He ended with a disturbing mix of laughs and sobs. Alex was always confused by Thomas's obsession with Linda. The Smiths gave him a job in their company, made him the lead with popular actors, the whole set at his command, and all sorts of ad deals. He never had to grovel for investors. With so many opportunities, why wasn't Thomas satisfied? Stella returned after her call and was fuming after hearing all this. Pointing at Thomas, she spoke through gritted teeth. "I told you not to come, but you insisted. You came fine, but I asked you not to meddle. Now look what you've done. Just wait until the Smiths get here." Instead of recoiling, Thomas laughed defiantly, like he didn't care anymore. Stella didn't want to see his smug face, so she had him taken away by the guards. Then she turned to Alex and Vivian, her voice still tense from anger. "You two should go home. I'll stay with Linda." Vivian handed her phone number. "Here's my number. Call me if you need anything." By the time they got home, it was way past midnight, and Alex's parents were already asleep. The house was silent. Just as Alex was about to go inside, Vivian stopped him. Turning back, he caught her tender gaze. Startled, he quickly looked away, his voice sounding anxious. "What's up?" Vivian spoke sincerely. "Everything I said. It's true." He blinked in confusion. True about what? While Vivian was away, she felt uneasy seeing Linda's advances on Alex. She had planned to confess everything that night, but things took an unexpected turn. "I really do like you. I've never liked Victor. After college entrance exams, I asked Victor to deliver a letter to you. Remember?" Alex stared back, growing more puzzled. "What letter?" She grew desperate, waving her hands in the shape of an envelope. A light blue envelope, sealed with a snowflake wax stamp. "Didn't you get it?" "Victor said he gave it to you." Seeing her serious expression, Alex was bewildered too, but he genuinely didn't remember any such letter. Later, lying in bed, he couldn't shake the thought of her expression and felt uneasy. Should he believe Vivian? Why would his brother hide something like that? Conflicted, he slipped out of bed, threw on a jacket, and headed toward his brother's room. The room was just how his brother left it. Turning on the lights, he searched for the blue envelope. After a while, he finally found it tucked away in a book's layer, its edges yellowed with age. When he held it, the envelope felt heavy in his hands. Carefully, he opened it. Inside was a letter written over a decade ago, filled with Vivian's doubts and frustrations over her family's decision to send her abroad. At the end, she had written, "If you're willing to go with me, meet me on June 10th at 7:30 at our spot. I'll be waiting." A 10-year-old offer, one he was just now reading. He had no idea how long she waited that night, but after that, she became cold and distant. They turned into rivals without knowing why. When he heard Vivian was going abroad, he angrily confronted her. "You're leaving? And you didn't tell me?" Back then, she'd rolled her eyes dramatically. "I don't like you. Why would I?" He persisted. "Then who do you like? My brother?" She snapped her book shut and entered the house. "Sure. Anyone but you." Her stubborn demeanor left him frustrated, wondering what he did wrong. So when she left, he didn't even see her off at the airport. Over time, his admiration for Vivian turned into hatred. He tried to forget the good times with her, only remembering her decisive departure. It turned out it was his brother who hid the letter that caused all the misunderstanding. Nobody knew why Victor did it. Maybe only Victor really knew. The next afternoon, Alex got a message from Vivian. Stella said Linda was awake after her surgery, and Calvin had arrived at the hospital. When Alex and Vivian reached the hospital, they overheard Calvin ordering that all resources for Thomas be cut off. Luxury endorsements paused and his name removed from upcoming red carpets. Calvin also planned to sue Thomas for intentional harm, which meant prison time ranging from months to years. Getting on the wrong side of the Smiths was career-ending for Thomas. After security took the weeping and angry Thomas away, Alex and Vivian entered the hospital room. The anesthesia had long worn off, and Linda lay uncomfortably on the bed, feeling as if knives cut into her every time she moved. Alex was still a bit fearful of the Smith seniors. The last meeting he had with them, he pushed Linda to return home and discuss wedding plans. He'd never forget Calvin's shouted, "I don't agree." The room fell silent for a while until Calvin broke it. "I don't know what happened between you two, and I don't care to know." The wedding day was chaos with no groom or bride present. "If you still want to come back, we can set a new date and redo the wedding." If Alex heard this offer the day he brought Linda home, he would have jumped for joy. But now, Linda's side glances at Alex told her it was impossible for them. Vivian's heart sank as she heard this. She balled her fists, eyeing Calvin with slight hostility. But these weren't the words Alex wanted to hear. He told Linda not to come back, but she never listened. Turning around, he grasped the hand of the person behind him, feeling Vivian's fingertips tremble. After a pause, she tightened her grip on his hand. "Uncle Lou, my family's business has declined over the years. We really aren't a suitable match. I already found someone I truly love and won't return." Calvin, experienced in business for so many years, was probably told no by Alex for the first time. But thinking of his daughter risking her life for this man, Calvin pressed on. "Didn't you ask for the wedding first? Why the change of heart now?" Alex responded firmly yet respectfully. "First, we weren't marrying for business, so backing out causes no loss. Second, the wedding wasn't my decision to call off. Linda knows the reason better." Stumped by a young man for the first time, Calvin was left speechless. Linda stopped Calvin from saying more. "Let them go." Alex spoke softly but with weight, each word hitting Linda hard. She bent her head low, unwilling to see him leave, unable to accept but forced to do so. As Alex and Vivian left the hospital, she felt the entire thing surreal, her mind dizzy. Grabbing Alex's hand, she stood like a child, giddy and excited. "Alex, what you just said, was it true?" Without hesitation, Alex nodded. They reconciled. Nobody knew, except the two of them, that during Vivian's first year abroad, she was silent and unfriendly, constantly lost in thought on her phone. Later, she hurriedly bought a ticket back to the Greens, only to find out Alex had moved to study in City A. Determined to find answers, she followed him there, trying to understand why he didn't want to go abroad with her. That night, she waited alone from dusk till dawn, watching the sunrise before heading home exhausted. After a sleepless day, she went to City A, saw Alex on the university campus, but stopped short when she saw his gaze fixed on another girl. From then on, She didn't return until she learned through her parents that Alex was getting married. She claimed indifference but immediately booked a flight back to City S upon hearing it. Upon her return, she learned Alex was planning to flee the wedding, and she finally smiled. Their wedding was set for April 27th. Alex glanced at the date on the calendar, noting how close it was. This time, the wedding planning was different. Both families gathered often to discuss details, laughter filling the air as childhood stories were shared, leaving Alex and Vivian blushing in embarrassment. With their new home nearing completion, Alex and Vivian busily picked out soft furnishings to match the decor. Vivian was quick to buy anything she liked. The night before the wedding, coming home to the finished house, Alex accidentally met his across-the-hall neighbor, an aunt in her 50s or 60s. The house had been empty all his life, the owners previously living abroad until recently returning home. She greeted him warmly, mentioning a woman who stood beside her house before New Year's, watching Alex's home through all weather. She laughed about initially thinking she was a stalker, before realizing they knew each other, though she hadn't been seen recently. Alex paused at the door with a knowing smile. She won't come around anymore. The wedding day was grand. Red carpets led from the neighborhood entrance, surrounded by flowers. Linda stood at the same spot, watching Alex in a crisp suit smiling brightly at his bride. They left in the wedding car amidst joy, yet her legs moved without thinking until she abruptly stopped. She knew she wasn't entitled to be there. April 27th turned out to be a bright, sunny day, though the sunlight seemed painfully glaring, bringing tears to her eyes. She rubbed at them only to find the more she wiped, the more tears fell. Nobody was left at the greens. Everyone was at the wedding. She got in her car, which stopped at the wedding venue. From inside, she took out an envelope, placing a bank card inside it. Lost for words that could fit in the envelope to express her regret and apologies, she simply wrote "Congratulations on your wedding" on it. She called for a delivery service, instructing them, "Take this envelope to the wedding check-in, record the delivery entirely, and I'll tip you $1,000. The delivery guy hesitated, surprised by such an easy yet lucrative task. As he accepted the envelope, his hands shook slightly. "A name?" he asked. Pausing, Linda tugged at a smile. "Just say a former colleague." After finishing, she boarded a plane back to City A. On the flight, she replayed the video sent by the delivery, feeling blurred vision each time until tears dripped onto her phone screen. What's at the end of love? A sudden disappearance of excitement, coldness, impatience, defamation, letting go, fulfillment, or never meeting again. Nobody has a precise answer. Now separated by mountains and valleys, she and Alex shall never cross paths again.